this
There you go.
you and I are in the sales business, is we have to sell people to buy our programs, and sometimes just very small changes can make a difference. But with me, as soon as I gave them the double double guarantee, which you can give them, everybody signed up. And then
Ooh,
I taught them exercises, and I'm going to teach you. I'm not going to teach you. I'm going to tell you a couple of exercises that you can use that will blow your clients' minds, double, triple their income, make them happy, fat, rich, satisfied, and it's just great stuff. And I
sounds
say,
like Christmas. Yeah.
and and I know what you've done, and I really admire and respect you for bouncing back and changing your approach to speaking and coaching because of COVID. COVID sort of killed the business. I don't even know any of the people who are in Speakers Roundtable or Speakers NSA anymore because they're all new speakers. And anyway, so your job and my job is to help you to increase your income so that you can retire comfortably. I wanted to comment on one thing that you wrote about taking care of Paula. One of my main goals in life, knowing that, see, my wife is 9 years younger than me,
Hmm.
and, and so the odds are no,
Yeah.
not good for me.
Right.
Uh, but I read many years ago, I read a couple of articles on how women who had been living comfortably with their husbands, then the husband died, and they didn't really understand the finances or anything else. And the statistic was that the average housewife who's or a wife who dies will be living on the benevolence of relatives in 2 years and 7 months. In other words, they'll lose the money and so on. So I've turned over all of my finances to Barbara. She handles everything. I said, I have to be nice to you because you've got all the money.
Mhm.
But the second thing goal was that I wanted her to be comfortable for the rest of her life, however long she lives. And I've achieved that. But it was a very clear goal, like yours, very clear goal, is that I want my spouse to, when I'm pass on, because the odds are you and I were die 8 to 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
And with Barbara being younger than me, the odds are even higher. But she's now comfortable financially.
Yeah.
She'll never
By
have
the
to
way,
worry
how
about money.
old are you now?
Pardon?
How old are you now?
I'm 81. I'm 81.
81. I'm 78.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know. I think,
Okay.
I think so. You're thinking the right way. Now, your
Hang on a sec. The screen froze here for a moment. Let's see.
success and my success is determined.
Yeah.
Okay. You okay? Oh, are you okay? Okay. So my question is, how you doing? How you doing? Uh, I used to have a childhood friend who grew up and went astray and got into serious crime and was in um, San Quentin and got out and everything else. Yeah, a neat guy, still my best friend in life. And he would say, "Well, how's your business?" I said, "My business is good. And I'm doing well." Blah blah blah, which is everybody says. And he said, "All I want to know is how you hitting, man? How you hitting?" You hitting good? How you hitting?
Yeah.
Always remember how you hitting. For us, it's it's a combination of how much we earn and how much we keep.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I've started off with no money at all. I came from no money, and I worked every penny I've ever earned. I've worked up, and I never tell anybody this, but I'm just on the verge of 20 million in assets, and it's money's invested, it's deployed, it's real investment. So my wife's okay, and I want you to be the same thing. And I don't know where you are.
Thank you. Well,
Um,
I'm not in a strong position. Though I've generated the revenue, I haven't kept it as disciplined as I needed to. And so I'm still pretty much dependent on the new sales that I make in order to get above just maintenance
yeah,
line. And so I can't let go yet.
no,
And I need a couple of really robust years to just feed money into various funds so that I can chill a little bit and lean back.
Right. Well, I really respect you for having so aggressively counterattacked into the market with a whole new strategy, a whole new business, and everything else. And that's really good because,
And it's really fun too.
well, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm having a blast.
well, you get a chance to use your acquired talents and abilities at the highest possible rate. Now, my fees now are as much as $50,000 a talk. I've just done booked two talks at $50,000 for 1 hour each, plus first class expenses, even sending me a plane, which is nice. That it's,
No kidding. My
it,
highest fee ever was $40,000. It
yeah,
was first class round trip to Macau, China, 1 hour speech, 40,000 fee, and just
that's
wow.
wonderful.
That's twice what I paid for my first house.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Um, I did a I do I've done strategic planning now, not only for all of my coaching clients who are entrepreneurs, they're our people, they're yours and my people,
Yeah.
but I've done it for more than 1,000 companies worldwide.
Whew.
Uh, I had an interesting experience. There was a really neat guy in speakers in NSA, and his name, I think it's Pete somebody. Anyway, he gave a talk, and he said he was in sales with Hewlett Packard, and he decided to get into speaking, so he did some research. And I never forgot this. He said that he found the highest paid speakers are the ones who speak on strategic planning because it
Pete
has the
Johnson.
Steve
Pete Johnson
E. Johnson.
out of Orange County.
Ah, and
I
he
remember him from when he started. Yep.
yeah, and it was a great. I thought, wow, strategic planning, and because I'm a passionate goal setter. I'm the best-selling author on goal setting in the world
Yeah.
in 40 countries. But I thought, that is great because strategic planning is corporate goal setting as opposed to personal goal setting.
Yeah.
So I'd given a talk for $1 billion company, and about 2 weeks later the executive vice president called me up and said, Brian, we really liked your talk. I mean, we're still talking about it. It was on leadership for half a day. And he said, we want to do more with you. Is there anything else that you could offer us? And I said, well, I specialize in strategic planning. Remember that we learned this in NSA. Always say that you specialize. I say, I specialize in strategic planning. And he said, well, that's very interesting. Let me check with the president and see, because we haven't done that for several years. And the bottom line was they hired me for 3 days, and I bought every book I could find on strategic planning. And I read them and took notes, and I created workbooks and pre-work and everything else, took them to a resort and spent 3 days following this methodology. And they came out afterwards and they said, the best 3 days in the history of the company. I've given that similar talk 1,000 times, and 100% of clients say best 3 days in the history of
Wow.
this company. I want to share some of that with you as much as I can. But when it comes down to individuals, what we want to do is I want them to double their income and double their time off, and I guarantee it.
Double, double, right?
Yeah, double, double. And then, in order to assure that I didn't have to give them their money back, I front loaded some of the exercises. And I'm going to give you my favorite front loading exercise because it blows people's minds. It's so simple. It's, it should be illegal. And, and it's simply this. It's a spiral notebook,
Hmm.
blank pages.
Yep.
Let me tell you a quick story. Last month, a woman came here from Ukraine. Her name was, I think it was Maria. She's 39 years old. She's married, two children, lovely person. And she
Hmm.
brought three people here to interview me, paid me $10,000, $15,000 to interview and ask questions that she could then play. She has the most popular podcast in Eastern Europe, plus she's a sort of a star. She told me, she said, the reason that I'm here, you've got to understand. She was really insistent. You've got to understand why I'm here. Because I read your book, Goals, and I came across that exercise with the workbook. And I tried it out. She said I was earning $500 a month when I did your exercise. And I did it every day, right up until today. I never stopped giving it. And this is 3 years ago. She said, this year I earned $500,000 a month. $500,000 a month. She said, and I attribute it 100% to this exercise. Well, I've given this exercise to lots of people, and it's almost like a magic wand. It'll guarantee that your clients will double their income and then double it again. So what I would do in my first session of my coaching program, I would say, thank you, and introduce people and so on. So now I want to introduce you to your new best friend. This is going to be your new best friend. And
Mhm.
here's how we do it. Handball out. And oh, by the way, do you do group coaching at all?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
One of the things that I found that I never forgot was you cannot seat low income people next to high income people because they'll just become angry. So I say, well, everybody sits at round tables, five people all
Hmm.
facing forward. And there were people making the minimum was $100,000 a year at that time. It'd be 200, 250 a year this time. Um, and so I would, when I had application forms and so on, all of which I can send you, because we made it. You had to apply to get in. You had to have a minimum sort of income. You had to fill out the details so that I would understood what I was, who I was talking to. Anyway, so I changed the seating around so
Hmm.
that people were earning $100,000 a year were at one table. People earning 250 were at 500 were at a different table. And before that, there was a lot of sort of frustration in the room because people at different income levels have a different uh, language that they use.
Yeah.
So just something to think about when you're
Hmm.
dealing with people who are um, highly paid, sit them with people who are highly paid
Makes
because
good sense. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
they have concerns that the others don't yet have. By the way, I think I've got something in my drawer that you would enjoy seeing. Let me find it here. Well, evidently I don't, but there's a Brian Tracy workbook from 1,000 years ago
it's on the top.
in one of my drawers here.
Actually, it's on the top of that drawer that you
Yeah.
just opened. I just saw my workbook in your drawer.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's one of the top one of is yeah. Keep in mind.
That's relationship strategies from me and Tony ages ago.
Right.
This one's a High Point University. And
Huh. Oh well,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Um.
Anyway,
Okay. So I got a call from a company in Miami about 3 months ago, and they said that they would like to do a strategic planning program with me for one day, but for two people.
mm-hmm.
And so I charged them $50,000. They came to my home and they were going to be 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. We ended up spending most of the day talking.
Mm-hmm.
And when they arrived, what I do is I do a lot of chat GPT research on the industry, and they were in the orthodontic management industry. So I sounded really smart when I asked them questions. There's going to be 10 ways to grow a business in orthodontics. And so I sounded very intelligent. But I opened it up and I said, let me tell you my goal. My goal is that you feel after our day together that you received 10 times the value that you paid. And this is something I've done throughout my career. It's always 10 times, 10 times, 10
Mm-hmm.
times. And so that's my goal for today. And now let's go over what are your goals. And we wrote them down and talked them. At the end of the day, I asked the president, I said, well, how do you think we did with regard to our goals? He said, we didn't do 10 times. He said, I think we did 100 times investment. We invested, they paid $50,000 plus expenses. They said they reckon they'll get $500,000 back because it was so helpful to them. And the reason I say that is because this stuff that we're going to talk about, and this is not the last time, it's really helpful. And it's very simple and it works like a damn. It's almost like touching an electric control. Wow, it burns
Yep.
your. So here's the most important thing that you can do to guarantee double, guarantee audience satisfaction, to guarantee more income, to make closer, more sales. And the most important part of your business is to have referrals, is have people be coming to you, people to be so happy. They say, you've got to work with Jim Cathcart. You've got to work with Jim Cathcart. I mean, he's the best. He's the best in the industry. I'm going to digress here because I'm a sales guy. So I always think in terms of sales.
Hmm.
We do. I mean, that's what we do. We're persuading people to engage in behaviors that this is my, we'll say, that they would not have engaged in without our influence, because they didn't know about them or understand them or anything else. So our job is to help them become so financially successful that basically, and I say this to my friends, I say, oh, so you offer free services? And they said, well, no, I don't offer free. Oh, yeah, yeah, yes, you do. You offer free services. And so therefore you should have an unlimited market because everything you do is free. And I said, let me explain what I mean by free. I used to break the bank at Monte Carlo in my product sales in my seminars. I was the highest selling person from the stage in the world. Um, Patricia Fripp said that Brian sells more product than God.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason, and I've had people come to my seminars, speakers, our friends, and just simply copy the same presentation and double their sales the next day. And I call it free plus a profit.
Hmm.
Is I am free plus a profit. And what does that mean? That means that not only do you end up getting this seminar or this coaching program for free, but you make a continuous profit on it afterwards. And let me explain why. So I would do my presentation and say, now I have some products, I have some things available for you. I just want to explain them to you before we take a break. And I would go through my product presentation. And at the end, I would say, and we have a special offer today. They're all free. And the audience would cheer. Yay! And I said, no, it's a special form of free. Now, these are all salespeople. Special form of free. And then they go, boo.
Yeah, of course.
And I say, let me explain it to you. And I'd say, what you do is you take these programs, you use them, practice them, and if they don't more than pay for themselves and turn out to be free, then you can send them back and there's no charge. And
Hmm.
I would joke and I'd say this, and this guarantee does not last just until you get back to your car. It's for one full year. So in other words, the programs are free because they don't pay. If they don't pay for themselves, you can give them back and get 100% of your money back. And people would say, and then I would say, but we have a problem. Our shipments didn't arrive, and so we don't have enough for everybody here. So if you're ever going to get them now at this break because we'll run out.
Rush the tables. Yeah.
They rushed the tables. I mean, it was like the Mongols attacking a city. They would run over the chairs and everything. Anyway, we sold a lot. So I came up with this method of selling, um, and if you use it, it's you'll double your income, double, and it's very simply this: it's free plus a profit. In other words, my courses, my work with you will more than double your income and then continue to increase your income. So it will pay for itself and then it will continue to pay for itself. So you'll be making a profit. So basically it costs nothing. All you have to do is work with me and follow the exercises that we talk about, and you
Your
will
homework. Yeah.
double your yeah. So here's the and so in order to be sure that I never had to give a refund, I don't know about you, but I hate having to. I've had to give two in my life in my lifetime, and I'm still pissed off.
Yeah.
So here's what I do. I say, now, I want to introduce you to your new best friend. I want you to open it up and do this exercise and get them working right away. And right at the top of the page, you write the word goals and today's date. And
Hmm.
then you write down 10 goals in the present tense as though they were already a reality. Is I earn this amount of money. I have this net worth. I weigh this number of pounds. I achieve this level of sales. Whatever your 10 most important goals, write them as fast as you can. And and then I would wait. And they people love this, by the way. They love this exercise. So everybody would write out their 10 goals. I said, now organize the goals and say, if you could only achieve one goal, which would be number one? If you could only achieve two, what would be number two? If you could only achieve three, what would be number three? And just put it down in the margin. Now, tomorrow morning, when you get up, you're going to take this workbook and you're going to open it up to a new blank page. You never look back. You never look back at the previous page. You have a new blank page and you do the exercise again. Write down 10 goals. And then the next day you do it again. And you do this every day for a month. It takes approximately 33 days, according to psychologists, for it to lock in and be permanent. They used to say 21 days, but that was not true. So what you do is you do this for a month, and then afterwards you do this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
This is one. This is the one goal that this woman told me increase her income from 500 to $500,000 in a month in 3 years. She said it was like a miracle. I tell you, she was a happy camper, a
Yeah.
very smart,
And that's,
intelligent.
that's straight out of Earl Nightingale's guidance that I heard that day in 1972 on the radio. You know,
Wow.
he said
And
1 extra hour every day, studying your chosen field. In 5 years or less, you'll be a national expert. Every
yes,
morning, write down your current primary goal and today's date, and then start listing everything you can think of.
right.
Next day, do it again, again, again. Wow.
I
That,
never heard, I may have heard that, but I started practicing it myself. I read it when I
Mhm.
got into speaking. And so I started doing it myself. And in my office, I have rows and rows of spiral notebooks that I've accumulated over the years. I've just done it all my life, and it's paid off.
Gonna show you. These are
Oh,
pages, old weathered pages from the
good for you.
1970s and 80s.
Yeah.
Produce a report, a softcover book, build toward a series of them. Pay me monthly without billing, make your agreements that way. This is advice from Nito in November of 1979.
Wow.
Gee,
Nito is so smart.
oh,
Jeez. Yeah. So this is what I teach people, and I have them fill it out, and then they come back in 3 months, and the first question I ask is, did you follow your commitment and write down 10 goals every day? And of course, there's always people who didn't,
of
but
course.
about 70 or 80% of them actually did. And I said, how did it work out? The audience would explode. You can't believe it. I've never made so much money in my whole life. I doubled my income in the first week. I tripled. I mean, basically, it was like it was wonderful, and everybody was listening to everybody else talk about how much more money they'd made. And this is the bottom line of it. So, so this is something that I would suggest that you do,
Yeah.
and just the way that I've taught it, because it works like a damn. And what it does is it doubles their income and doubles their time off within 30 days. And from then on, they're just basically it's free plus a profit.
Hmm.
And you become their guru. From then on, they will do anything. that you suggest to them.
Yeah.
But these are the things that I did, and I built up my coaching practice. I trained more than 1,000 entrepreneurs, business owners, and over a course of 7 years, and I never got one request for a refund. They just filled the room, 30 to 40 people at $5,000 a time, 4 times a year. And by the way, I've got all the exercises that I would run them through, and I can send them to you if you like, and you can
Oh,
just,
love it. Thank you. Yes.
yeah, because they Harvey McKay, I once asked him for a referral for a testimonial for one of my books. And Harvey was a super nice guy. And he said, you should read this book for three reasons. Number one, it works. Number two, it works. Number three, it works. It will change your life. And that was the
I remember
testimonial.
reading that.
But that's what you want. You want to
Yep.
be able to say it works, it works, and you want them to say to everybody, this works, and that's what's going to start to set up this force field of energy that starts to attract more and more people into your orbit, if you like.
That's, I want to show you something. Let me share my screen here.
Sure.
I I did that in video for my the Professional Experts Summit,
Right, right.
and I want to get out of Zoom and get onto my website here so I can show it to you. Safari, new window. On Cathcart.com, I
Yes,
recently redid the whole thing, and I
yes,
had the woman that does my technical postings post testimonials. And I want you to, I'm just going to scroll, but there are video testimonials that just go on and on and on. And there's you and the others there in the testimonials for my book. You and
right.
Les Brown and Nito and Tom Hopkins and Fripp and so forth. And then down here, more and more and more videos.
That's great.
And then picture with Les. And then more videos down here. All of there's me and Brian Tracy.
Wow.
Yep. And more testimonials on video. So all of that, just to show you what I did on my testimonial page of the website. A little social proof there that's kind of hard to deny.
Well, my question is, how hard are you hitting?
How
How
hard am I hitting? Not very hard.
I mean, how many new clients are you getting as a result?
That's what I mean. I'm not getting enough traffic, bringing enough traffic to the website to have them see that and go, wow. So that my biggest downfall is the inflow of new business.
Yes, yes,
Everything else is,
yes. Welcome to the crowd.
yep.
That is the biggest downfall. That's the reason I thought I would call you because I've been through all this, and I've been through the hell of trying to develop more business, and I've reached the point now where I just take stuff that comes over the transom, as they say, and
Hmm.
I earn more than $1 million a year just sitting here. And if I speak, if I travel, then it's even higher. Um, and my goal is two.
Yep.
I'm 81, and I want to get to two because what I found, if you write it down, it comes true. It's the most amazing damn thing. Now, there's one more trick that I may have learned from Earl or somebody else. But what you do is what you've taken your biggest goal and you say, if I achieve this goal, and it's usually financial, which is good. Um, if I achieve this goal, this would be the most important of all. I call it the magic wand. So if you could wave a magic wand and achieve any one goal, what one goal would it be? And then you ask you put down what is called the 20 answer method. You say, what could I do to achieve this goal? Question mark. And then you write down 20 answers. And I started giving this 30, 40 years ago. I'm right at the beginning of my career. And I was blown away by how blown away people were by this exercise. So I do it on a regular basis. Just write down number one, do more of this, less of this, start this, learn this. But you must do 20 answers. This is really the most important part. Most people, it's not a pejorative, it's a fact. Most people are lazy. They seek the fastest and easiest way to get the things they want. All the problems we're having in America with National Guard and everything else are people taking away the free money.
Yep.
That's that's what Elon and Musk were doing, just taking away the free money, and taking away the free money makes people crazy. They just go insane. They riot, they shoot, they kill. I mean, so what people want is easy. That's why with this exercise, if you write down 20 answers, you keep working at it, and it's the first five are easy, the second five are harder, the third five are very difficult. The last five are like they're so excruciatingly hard. You want to give up. You want to quit. It's sort of like Marine SEAL training.
Yeah.
You want to ring the bell, um, but you must get to 20. And over and over, I found that the 20th answer, not always, but the 20th answer changes people's lives. And if they hadn't gone through 19, they wouldn't have gotten to 20. And what will happen is at number 20, you'll have an insight on how to fill your classes with business. It'll be, geez, like it's like this, like wow,
Mhm.
wow.
A
And
BFO, blinding flash of the obvious.
a blinding flash of the obvious, but you've now exercised this incredible mental ability you have, and it's like working out with weight. You keep pumping iron and pumping blood into it. It gets tighter and tighter, but at a certain point, bing, the answer comes, and then you'll start to have good ideas every day. Every day, do you wake up at night tossing and turning over good ideas?
I,
You,
I wake up in the morning on them and I lay there in bed and I flesh them out and then I get up and capture them. Yep.
yeah. That's I don't that's what I do. I don't get up, but I do have great at night. You have these great ideas, but the reason is because you've triggered. It's almost like starting
Mhm.
an outward engine by writing down your goals.
Yeah.
The other thing is that my mentor Albert Schweitzer in Africa said, "You must teach men at the school of example, for they will learn at no other." And I've never forgot that. They must teach men at the school of example. So therefore, anything that you advocate for others, do yourself. And
Mhm.
if you do it yourself, there's something in the quality of your voice, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak. When you do it yourself, it makes you a different person and
Exactly.
makes you more believable, more credible. People kind of feel this is good, this is right
Mhm.
because you do it yourself. And so your first goal is to double your income.
Yeah.
And once you've achieved that, then you double it again. And then once you've achieved that, you double it again. And your goal should be to make the next 3 to 5 years the highest income goals of your life and satisfy all of your financial requirements, have all the money that you want, um, have all the money necessary for Paula to be able to retire for the rest of her life.
Hmm.
By the way, my daughter, Christina, married into a Jewish family and became Jewish. So I sometimes joke that I'm 1/4 Jewish by marriage. Uh, but she and her father-in-law is a very wealthy Hollywood lawyer, has a 104-person firm, and they made a lot of money. So they called me up a few years ago, and maybe five, and said, "Dad, what do you do with your money?" And I said, "Well, we have it here and have it there." She said, "We have put all of our money with a financial advisor in Los Angeles. After examining everybody and everything that's available and talking to people and getting referrals. And so that's the one place we go. And I would recommend that you do that as well. So we followed up and we did because I love the Jewish people and they're very good with money. And so we did. And we never worried about it again.
Culturally imprinted. Yeah, truly.
Yeah. And so it's the same thing as well, the reason as an aside, the reason the Jewish people are disparaged is because they were never allowed to own property. So they had to have movable assets.
Yeah.
And they had movable assets. They had to be able to transport them, like in these World War II, diamonds and gold and things like that.
Mhm.
Well, and people envied them because they were wealthy, they worked together, they cooperated, they invested well, they were intelligent about their money. I mean, all good things. And I'm just an aside, but I have a book written by a German philosopher, economist, and it's called Envy. And it explains virtually all of the problems with against the Jewish people is envy. Envy is a terrible thing. And what this professor said, which I never forgot, he said, of the seven deadly sins, envy is the only one that has no payoff. In other words, it only consumes and hurts the possessor of it. If you have lust, well, there's a payoff. If you have gluttony, it's a payoff. If there's a payoff
I'll
of
be darned.
enjoyment, but not for envy. Envy just uh, hurts the consumer of it and leads to all the problems we have. But anyway, because I respect them so much, I just took their financial advisor. His name is Jason, and we put all of our spare money with Jason, and he invests it carefully. He recognizes that we're not young, so he doesn't speculate with it. He just puts it right away. It's just something that I never thought about doing until my daughter suggested it a few years ago. And I've never worried about money again, never think about it. I just put as much in there as I have over, if you like,
Mhm.
and it makes a big difference. And that's what's really important for Paula, just like it's important for Barbara, is
Yeah.
that their money is being handled by a true expert who really knows how to take care of them. Anyway, just something to think about. You
Yeah.
have a will? You have a will, by the way?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good to keep on top of that and check and never try to, if you're never cheap on your lawyers. I had a lawyer tell me that. He said, I had all kinds of problems and I finally went to him. It was expensive. And he said, Brian, he said, you're trying to save money on legal fees. He said, and it just cost you a fortune. And he saved me, got me out of a serious problem because these lawyers are so smart. So I never cheap on a lawyer. If I
By the
have a
way,
legal
Jim
problem,
Jr. is our only heir, direct heir. Of course, his kids would be next. But um, we were talking to him one day about um, some financial thing about passing things on. He
yeah.
said, he said, Mom, Dad, I just want what's coming to me, which means 100% of what we have because he's the only heir. He said, don't worry about it. I just want what's coming to me. Yeah.
That's great. Well, we have four children, eight grandchildren, and
Mhm.
our situation is simple, is that first of all, everything goes to Barbara,
Yep.
and she'll probably outlive me by 10 years. But I said, I want our children to treat you very nicely. Oh, how are you? How is
Good.
everything going?
Let me get that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that when you pass on, we just take a pie, chunk, four pieces, uh,
Hmm.
and each of the four children gets a quarter, just like your son.
Yep.
Uh, and and then it's really important because there's so many little changes in the law. It's very important to keep it up to date. Maybe once a year, have it checked
Yeah.
because sometimes they'll put something in that if you don't have it, it exposes you to taxes and you don't have time to study it all the time. But the worst thing in the world is to work so hard to get financially independent and then have it being scooped because you cheaped on lawyers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and the best thing, and this is important with regard to your business, is referrals. Is
Yeah.
always ask who is the best person in this area, who is the best person in this area, and whether it's a dentist or a doctor or somebody else. My wife had brain surgery, and we did some inquiries, and because we have a concierge medical service we found that there was a doctor who were going to have the surgery just it's going in and taking out a tiny tumor. We're going to have the surgery here in San Diego. And my daughter, Christina, in the Jewish family said, no, 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 there's a man here. doctor here in Santa Monica who's done 2,000 of these operations successfully. This guy's the best in the world. He said,
Mhm.
you should come up here and stay with us and go to the hospital. And so we did. And and we've had almost no problems since then. But I always remember that, wow. And our medical insurance covered it. And that's another thing is make sure that you have medical insurance that
Mhm.
covers things. It's insurance is free if when you need it. Now
Yeah.
that brings us to your business in sales, which has been my specialty. In sales, there's three sales that you make. The first sale is the hardest one of all. It takes so much effort because people are skeptical, people are busy, people don't have the money. So you have to find a way to sell. And my double double offer, my free plus a profit offer, works in virtually every industry.
Mhm.
So you can say, if you come to me, of course, my services are free. Um, and let me explain to you what that means is that my clients, without exception, we have a 100% success rate more than pay for my services, plus they make a profit. And once you've paid for the services, or in any field, then everything's a profit. Um, quick story. When I began speaking, I was doing seminars and for companies, and I did a seminar for a division of um, Caterpillar, and they invited their staff to come on the weekend, 2 days, and to bring their significant others. So
Mhm.
this one woman brought her boyfriend, who was a an IBM rep, and he was so impressed with the seminar, he called IBM in the president in Toronto and said, "You got to get this guy in here. This is such a good seminar." And so their IBM is really aggressive about training. So they
Yeah.
brought me down. It ended up that I did 30 seminars for IBM over the next 3 years, and I got superb ratings. And uh, and I studied IBM because I wanted to really know what I was talking about. And here's what I found is when I was working with them, they had 82% of the world market for computers. 82%. People don't realize that 82 effing percent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is so much. How on earth could they do it? And the federal government, under the communists who were in charge at the time, they said these people must be defrauding customers if they could have so much business, and we're going to lower the boom on them. And so they brought charges against them for antitrust, and they had
Which
lawyers,
was
teams of
envy at work.
yeah, and finally, envy at work, and
Mhm.
finally Reagan came into power, and they went to Reagan. They said, "Look, these guys have been hounding us and hounding us and hounding us. We have to spend half of our life fighting with them, and is there anything you can do?" So Reagan simply said, "You've been harassing them without bringing charges. Either bring charges or drop it." And they said, "Ugh," and they dropped it. And then, you know what the next one was? Microsoft. After a little bit of recoup time, they went after Microsoft for another 13 years. And why? It's because Microsoft was so successful.
Mhm.
Anyway, my point is this. How did they sell? How did they sell so much? Well, they were always the most expensive in the market. They were they did not try to compete on price or anything else. They have great products, great services, great people, and the way that they sold the product, and this is so important, is what they did is they would say, get the information. I say, look, let us come back and give you a presentation based on the numbers that you've given us and the operation costs and so on. And they would have a beautiful proposal that showed that you paid $100,000 or $1 million for computers, that in 2 years, 2 months, and the third day will pay for itself 100%. And from then on, it's free.
Mhm.
And they were very good with the numbers. They showed them. They took the numbers from the company. So it's the company's numbers in terms of
Yeah.
expenses and staff and everything else. And so this is what it would turn out to be. And they look at that and say the equivalent of this is free plus a profit. It's free at 2 years at a certain point. It's free, and after that, they unconditionally guarantee they'll take care of you. They will be there the whole time. You have a problem, even from the first day, you become almost like a member of their family. And that was their technique to become the dominant power in the world. That's our technique as well. Our technique is, and it is if it's not free plus a profit, we won't take you as a client.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say that, but you say that basically the reason why I'm successful, Jim Cathcart, is because my services are free. And let me explain I mean, with the word free, by the way, I used to be in advertising, I used to write advertising. I'm very good at copywriting. And I was very successful at it. And I read all the books on it. Um, and so people would say, um, "Oh yes, the words, the most powerful and attractive word in all languages, in all cultures, is the word free." So if you can put the word free, it emotionally connects with people. It bypasses their head and goes
Mm-hmm.
straight to their gut. They say, "And free, oh God, free, oh." Free. Yeah. And so what we do is you offer free services.
Mm-hmm.
And and so I said there's three sales. The first sale is the hardest one of all because people are afraid of risk.
Sure.
And I don't know if you studied Jay's material, Jay Abraham, but he has this wonderful approach called risk reversal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there's when you meet with a client, there's 100% of risk that's on the table. It has to be apportioned. And so sometimes they give some of the risk to the client, some of the risk to the supplier, and so on. What you do is you take 100% of the risk. You reverse the risk. There is no risk, on the part of the client. You are absolutely adamant that you literally have this free plus a profit. And if you don't, I will give you 100% of your money back. No questions asked. I mean, I remember reading somebody saying that when you offer a guarantee, don't just say, here's a guarantee. You insist. You say, I insist that you give your money, but that you deal with, and I insist that you take your money back. Don't even question. I mean, you are so insistent on the benefit of the customer that they go, wow, geez. So if you can show them that my clients and give examples, right? You've seen me sell to you by telling stories. There's nothing that's more powerful than a story of success. And what you do is anyway. So what you do is you guarantee that success. So the first sale is the hardest sale. The second sale is easy if you deliver on the first sale. Now there's I've written now 96 books, by the way, and I
I
have
remember
five books.
speaking with you in the 80s and saying, you really ought to write a book. And you said, no, I'm good. I'm doing audio. And now then you're prolific. Yep. Well,
Yeah,
you were always prolific. It's just
yeah.
a different medium. By the way, I've always wanted to read the sequel to The Journey. So
I,
if you ever get the impulse, narrate the sequel to The Journey. That was a
I
great
have
book.
I have it right here, and it's on my top of my list. And the fact that you just asked for it is going to push me off the dock.
Good. Well, it's been more than 25 years ago when I read it.
No, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and that's a great encouragement because my kids want it as well. Everybody who's read the first one wants the second one.
Yeah.
So okay.
For
But
you.
you have so much to offer from your years of experience. You're basically a million dollar consultant in that you can help people become millionaires.
Hmm.
And and do you know how it takes about 7 years after a person decides to become a millionaire? And the next time we talk, I'm going to give you a formula that you can teach to each person that will make them rich, will increase their income 10 times in 10 years or less. And it works 100% of the time. It's a system that I came up with. when I was in my 30s, I was doing reasonably well, but my bank account was small,
Mhm.
and had studied millionaires and thought about millionaires, and I realized I still remember those lightning strike. I was walking down the street, and I realized I've studied millionaires since I was in my teens, and I'd always fantasized about being a millionaire, but I had never made the decision to become a millionaire. I never made the decision.
There you go.
And so I went home and I made the decision. If I was going to become a millionaire, and I am, that this is burn your bridges, then what would I have to do every day, every day, every day to become a millionaire? And, and I began to teach this system. And I remember I said, it's a 10-year system, increase your income 10 times in 10 years. And this really nice guy came up to me at a seminar in Seattle. His name was Chris. And I'd spoken to his company a couple of times. And he came up and said, Brian, he said, I followed your formula to increase my income 10 times. He said, it didn't work. He said, I did it every single day, but it didn't work. He said, then he smiled and he said, it only took 6 years. He said, this year, I mean, he's in sales. He's a sales guy.
Hmm.
This year, he said, I'm earning 10 times what I was earning when I was in your seminar. He said, it's just, and everybody I know that's in your seminar who did it is earning
Such a
six.
blessing to be in the field we're in. I got a call the other day from a guy named Tony Meeks. He makes guitar stands and really
Yes.
nice high-end wooden guitar stands. And he said, Jim, he said, I just have to tell you, I'm driving my brand new truck away from my brand new house to go to my warehouse where we're generating $5 million a year. He
Yes.
said, when I read the book, The Acorn Principle, I was sleeping in another person's warehouse and hoping to someday be successful. He
Wow.
said, he said, now I'm worth millions, generating millions, employing others who are inspired to do the same. And it's all because of the Acorn Principle.
Wow.
Wow. And I know you've had that 100 or 1,000 times over, but what a blessing to be in this world that we're in.
And when you write the Acorn principle, you
Hmm.
benefit from it more than anybody else because what you write is what you have demonstrated and proved to be true.
Hmm.
Uh, and by writing it, you actually drive it deeper and deeper. Let me give you a quick analogy. There was a in the oil fields. I worked with Hunt Oil Company. I did strategic planning for them, and I worked with Ray Hunt, who was the owner, president of the company. Fabulous man. But anyway, I learned a little bit about the oil patch. There was this guy, and he was in oil drilling, and they went out and they would buy or lease a piece of land and they would drill to see if they could find oil. I mean, it's standard worldwide. And then they would drill down, find the oil, and pump it all out. And the pool would be dry, a dry pool, what they call it a dry well,
Hmm.
and then move on. And so this new guy came along, and he had a degree in engineering, oil engineering, and he came up with this idea, which was so absurd, was that below the original pools, which people had made a fortune on, much deeper, there would be even bigger pools. And if you could drill down, you had to have technology and everything else, that these bigger pools would have much more oil than the original pools. And so he worked and worked and worked, and he finally got enough money, enough support, and everything else. And he bought an empty piece of land that was already farmed over, they call it. And he began drilling and drilling and drilling and drilling and drilling. The, the original pool was at 300 feet and was drained. This one was at 5,000 feet, and it was as big as a fucking ocean. I mean, there was so much oil in there. He became one of the richest guys in the world because he went around and bought out
Yeah.
um, old oil fields and then drilled much deeper. Well, it's the same with you and I. It's the same with each of your clients. And you tell them the story is that what you've accomplished up to now You've just basically touched the first pool, but you have the ability, just in the story that you just told, you have the ability to hit a master pool and earn 10 times what you're earning today. And I will show you how. I will show you how.
Wow.
It's it's
That's
re-
cool.
it's
That's a beautiful analogy.
yeah, and it's 100% successful, which is one of the reasons why I have such loyal clients because if they practice it, it works. It's like pushing down a dynamite detonator. Boom.
Yeah.
Work, works every time. Now, the key in my book, my recent book is called, which I should send to you. I'll make a note of that.
Thank
Uh,
you.
it's called The 32 Laws of Money and Success. And it will be a great book in time. It takes time. The sales of nonfiction books right now have dropped 30% this year, which is causing trauma in the publishing industry. People are listening to audios, they're going to courses, they're just not buying nonfiction books. Anyway, this is a nonfiction book. The 32 laws, one of the laws that I teach is the last law is the law of reputation. And the law of reputation is basically the law of branding. And your success and my success is determined by our brand. And your brand is defined as what people say about you after they have done business with you.
Yeah.
And this is the key to your success. Successful people are very key, very aware of what they want people to say. They do not leave it to chance. And so the question that in branding that I wrote was the idea of what do people say about you? What words do they use to describe you to other potential candidates or prospects? And what words do you want them to use?
I,
And
I have an exercise that I call reputation creation.
yes, yes,
Yeah. And in it,
right.
I walk people through that process. This is not the folder. But anyway, I walk them through that process. I have them do this is what I want my submarkets, my publics to say or think about me when I'm not present.
Yes,
You do it for family members,
yes,
neighbors, for coworkers, for customers, for even your competitors, and put words in their mouth and boil it down to one short paragraph for each group,
yes.
and then one master paragraph for you to look at every single day.
Wow.
And
That
it's
is
it's such a
so
powerful thing. I got the original thought from Stephen Covey and Roger Merrill in their or yeah, Roger Merrill in their book First Things First,
right.
Reputation Creation. That's what
Yes,
I call it. Yeah.
that's so important. Um, I did a program. Did a whole series. I got into a creative jag of 21 great ways. Double your income, double the size of your business, double your sales, manage your time. I
Yep.
came up with 21 21s, and I've turned many of them into books because
A lot of books.
I just had this surge. I would sit down and just write it out. Anyway, but one of the things that I came across in branding, my studies of branding, is what is your brand? And the definition, which I love to this date, is your brand is the combination of the promises you make and the promises you keep.
Ooh, well said.
Isn't that beautiful?
Well said.
Yeah. So therefore, make promises. What are your promises? That you will double your income and you will double it again. And if you don't, there's no charge. And that's it. Now you know you can deliver. That's the wonderful thing. You know you can deliver. So you can make the claim, and especially if you're willing to back it up with 100% guarantee.
Very
Because
cool.
if you do not double your income, you should not pay for this course. That's the key. It's the promise you make when you ask them to buy,
Mhm.
the promises that you keep afterwards. And when people say, if you're serious about growing your business, you've got to go to Jim Cathcart. You've got to go to Jim Cathcart. I mean, this guy's got moves you cannot imagine. The third part of selling, according to Drucker, is the referral.
Mm-hmm.
Referral is the lowest cost, most important of all. It's the referral that will make you rich. So you always have to be thinking in terms of the referral. You always have to be thinking in terms of what do I want people to say, and then how do I get referrals?
How to
And what,
yeah. But one of the things I thought of years ago was I was going to a company and I wanted to wanted to get them to hire me. And this guy said, I'll take it to our board. And someone made the observation that guy is now your sales rep. And I thought, wait a minute, I've got an untrained sales rep going in to make my case. How can I make him better at his job? Well, first, give him a crib sheet of key points and keep it short. Second, give him tools that he can carry along with him and hand out to everybody else in the room. And third, script exactly what I want him to ask.
yes,
Yeah. But it never occurred to me until then that that guy was, in fact, my sales representative and he was untrained.
right.
Wow.
Well, that's important. Is what happens is that if you focus on referrals, every person who buys from you is becomes your salesperson.
Hmm.
They tell other people what you told them to buy from you, and they cost you nothing. There's no commissions payable, there's no office space payable, and that's your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is repeat business.
Yeah.
I was on a cruise ship in the Mediterranean last year. It started from Athens and went up through the Adriatic to Venice,
Hmm.
and it was interesting because the service that they gave was unbelievable. It was just, they were just so attentive, and the food was, everything was just so great. And
Which cruise
I
line?
realized that this company is not even concerned about the fact that you're here. They're concerned about you coming back
Yeah.
and telling your friends. And they treated you so well. So all you could see that all they thought about was making you so happy you came back. And most of the people on the ship doubled up again. They came back and booked themselves again because, well, that's what you're doing is recognize that every happy customer can be a multiple source of happy customers. And you take such good care of your customers. Good restaurants do this. Good hotels do this. Shipping lines do it, is they're always thinking of the second sale. The second sale is the proof that you kept your promises.
Hmm.
And so one of the things, my favorite word in strategic planning is clarity. One of the things that you do is be really clear about what you're going to do with this client.
Hmm.
And what you're going to do is, in the simplest terms, is I'm going to show you how to double your income and double your time off in at least in less than a year, and in many cases in less than a month. And if you don't double your income and double your time off, then there's no charge. I'll give you 100% of your money back. You expect your expenses, I could say to myself, are up to you, but I'll give you your money back. And I've never had to give a refund.
Yeah.
And because then you keep your promises. You buy gum, you teach them this wonderful stuff you're talking about, reputation development.
Yeah.
That is so good, so important. And most people don't realize that everything they do, starting with, do you know that only 2% of people are punctual? Only 2%.
2%.
And 2%. And they're punctual 100% of the time. Well, that's a small thing that everybody who is important. There was someone once said that your shoes are not polished. And they said, well, nobody will notice. And the answer was the people who care will notice.
Yes.
The people who have, and you know that but business people, I find when they meet you for the first time, they look at your face, head, hair, uh,
Hmm.
and your shoes. They go, blink, and they make a decision in 5 seconds. Like head, face. If you're
Hmm.
if you're unshaven or something like this,
Yeah.
that means a whole lot of potential
Yeah.
detriments and poor performance. So it's just very simple. You just remember always the people who count um, will notice.
Exactly. Well, I just noticed the time, and I've got to go with Paula. We've got appointments, and we're traveling in one car. Man, this you've been so generous. How can I be helpful to you? What's the
Well,
best way I can help you?
Well, I've been very blessed by our industry, and so I reached the point where I charge a lot. I charge $10,000 to $15,000 for 1 hour,
Yeah.
but for my friends like you, I just want to be able to pass on stuff, and I've picked up a lot of stuff. Next time we talk about, I'll show you a very simple method that you can teach that shows people how to increase their income 10 times. It's guaranteed. Never in my career have I had somebody who said it didn't work. And so that's one of the things we'll do. We'll teach you how to double it and then double it again and then
Mhm.
double it again. Would that be a good goal for us? So you go and spend some time. And one of the things I was going to suggest is Zoom, I think is just one of the great miracles of the Western world. I would be very happy to just join in one of your sessions and just come on in Zoom and just share a couple of ideas. You and I
You know,
will agree on them in advance, and I'll
yeah,
share a couple of ideas that sort of fit in with what you're talking about. And so I can do it from here, and my schedule is more flexible.
excellent, excellent. Yeah, go through Michelle and we'll find some time. And I'd like to do a featured uh, podcast, professional experts podcast with
Yes.
just you. uh,
Okay.
because I'm doing it with each one of the people that has received CPE. I've
Yes.
done 14 so far, and there are
Okay.
29 of you who currently hold that medallion. And
Wonderful.
I would love to highlight you and maybe even title it "How to Double Your Income and Time Off in 1 Year."
The double double formula.
Yeah, the double formula, and we'll send everybody double bubble gum in advance.
Well, I don't. I encourage you to use my name and reputation, whatever it is, at this late time, to boost your business. And if you have, just invite me to come on. Say, Brian was one of our first CPEs, and he's going to be with us today. And we'll come on and say hello and talk to people. I
Okay.
can see them, and they can see me, and so we'll
Yeah.
have, yeah.
Well, right back at you. Anytime my presence can add to something you're doing, I'm there.
Fine. Well, the wonderful thing is that this conversation stimulates us both. And we think of stuff that we haven't thought of for quite a while,
Exactly.
and sort of stuff that really works for us. And your idea of reputation, by the way, what do you want people to say after they've done business with you? What do you want people to tell other people? What
Mm.
words exactly do you want them to say? And then you make sure that by gum they say those words.
Very good. Well,
Have a
thank
nice.
you, my friend. God bless you, and give Barbara a hug from both of us.
I will. And let us, one more thing. I've made it,
Okay.
I set a goal to live to be 100. And
What?
I've set a goal to live to be 100 years old.
Yes.
And one of the things, as I began to teach goal setting, was that most people say, well, how long are you going to live? Well, I don't know. I mean, who can tell and blah, blah, blah. No, you set it as an effing goal and you write it down and you make a list of everything that you can do or not do to achieve that goal. And there's no guarantees, but just one guarantee is if you don't set it as a goal, you're probably going to die much younger.
Yeah.
And why would you want to die much younger? You've got enough money and you can travel and you do everything else. No, is write it down as a goal and make a plan and work on it every day. I just got here. I've got just something. I- It's it's Wegovy. You know what Wegovy is?
Mm-mm.
It's this incredible multi-billion-dollar drug that you
Oh, I've
inject,
heard of it. Yes. Yes.
and what it does is it kills your appetite and you lose weight. So you get right back to your ideal weight. So I just finally got it all approved and everything else. And as of today, I'm going to start injecting myself with Wegovy so I can lose the weight.
Good.
Um,
Well,
because
God
I'm
bless you.
because I'm going to live to be 100.
There
I'm
you
going
go.
to outlive you.
Yeah, an interesting way of articulating that goal would be at age 100, I intend to walk across the finish line.
Wow. Walk across this. That's great. That's great.
Interesting way to think about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Well, I got to run. Thank you, Brian.
We will
Thank
we'll
you. Like
talk we'll talk again. If we can do this
times in a row.
every couple of months,
Okay,
this will be valuable.
you got it.
Love, I love you, Jim. Be well.
Same here. Bye bye.